The investigation into that terrible explosion in West coming to the state capitol with the question of how to prevent future tragedies. The regulations that were supposed to prevent disasters like the one in West is now the spotlight at the state capitol.
This morning, leaders of several state agencies testified about how fertilizer plants are monitored here in Texas. And KXAN's Chris Sadeghi attended the House committee hearing. He has more on the regulations that may have been followed, yet are still being criticized.
These facilities have to have something in place. Is that correct?
Environmental quality, emergency management, public safety. One by one, state departments were marched up to testify, and at the end of it all, Committee Chair Joe Pickett liked what he heard.
I feel confident that the state of Texas and the agencies in place that have oversight are doing their job.
But how much of their job involves monitoring fertilizer plants like the one that exploded? From Wednesday's hearing, we learned that there are 41 fertilizer plants in Texas filed under the same heading as the one in West. Any facility in Texas with more than 10,000 pounds of hazardous chemicals must report it with the state, and that local emergency planning committees are trusted with a large part of the safety checks, something State Emergency Management Chief Nim Kidd went back to when asked about oversight.
His reply was that's a local issue.
That's absurd.
Jim Moore with Progress Texas says pushing that much responsibility on the local level is dangerous, and that even if regulations were followed, the explosion shows there's not enough of them.
The local fire chief in West Texas is going to have that kind of expertise. Unless he went away somewhere to get special training, it's unlikely.
Kidd says there are 270 local emergency planning committees appointed by county judges that cover 92% of the state. But just how effective they were in West and how effective they are in every town might be the biggest red flag raised out of this explosion.
You're going to see a lot of renewed interest from the local communities asking, are we ready?
And we checked locally, and Travis and Williamson counties both confirm they have local emergency planning committees. Williamson County officials say their committee meets every other month, but Travis County Emergency Management Coordinator Pete Baldwin told KXAN the committee has not been as active as he'd like. Baldwin also said a search of Travis County databases doesn't show any facilities with large amounts of ammonium nitrates or explosives. We're in the studio tonight. Chris Sadeghi, KXAN.
And looking closer at the West investigation, 80 agents from 27 government agencies are on the ground there looking into the blast and its aftermath. Those agents have put in 12,000 man-hours so far. The cost to the federal government expected to top $1 million. So far, investigators have not found what caused the explosion in West. They have ruled out natural causes like lightning. Right now, investigators are reviewing records and operating procedures at the plant. The state fire marshal said a ruling on the cause could come as soon as May 10th.